All right, now we're going to go through how to do the examples, and the guiding question again is how many atoms are needed to make stable ionic compounds, and the goal, I can describe how electrons transfer to form stable ionic compounds. That's what we're going to try to do here. So this week we look at binary compounds. Binary, like bicycle, has two wheels. These are compounds with only two kinds of atoms. To recognize a binary compound, look for two capital letters in the formula. Below, you will study the bonding of NaCl, MgO, and Na2S. These are all binary compounds. But why do NaCl and MgO show only one of each element, no subscripts, but Na2S shows two Na and one S? Why are two Na needed here? In our 6.2 video last week, you took notes on the steps that happen when an ionic bond forms. In this activity, you will simulate these steps and the transfer of electrons by dragging the dots from one dot diagram to another to make stable octets. Then you will summarize what happened using the sentence frames and vocabulary. So on this side, we will be dragging electrons from the metal to the nonmetal, and we're going to use some vocabulary to describe the ions that form. And then on the other side, we will count the atoms needed and write formulas and names. So let's start on the left side. First, it says Na and Cl. First, transfer the electrons. Tap the T above to drag and use your finger to transfer electrons to make stable ions. Drag one dot from metal to nonmetal. Reminder from week 6, metals lose electrons to get to 0, and nonmetals gain electrons to get to 8. So reminder, we have to tap the T above and be in the T mode. And then looking at these dot diagrams, do you notice that one of them is blue? That one is draggable. When I tap on it, I get a little text box and I can drag that around. So thinking about how atoms want to be stable, we see that one there, and that Na would either have to gain 7 or lose 1. Losing 1 is easier than 7. So that it wants to lose 1. Well, where's it going to go? Notice that Cl has 7 dots, 7 valence electrons, and it would either have to lose 7 or gain 1. Well, it would love to just gain 1. So I'm going to move that over there. And now the Na has a stable octet. The layer underneath is full, remember from last week, but we see 0 dots now. And the Cl has 8 because it filled its layer. All right, step 2. Write the charge of each ion that is formed. Write charges in the pink and blue boxes up to the right of each symbol. So we have to remember our memory tool from above, lip and gin. Lip gin. Lip stands for losing is positive. Na lost 1. Losing is positive, so it's positive 1 or plus 1 or 1 plus. Cl gained 1. Gaining is negative, so it is 1 minus. And you see they are both stable now. Fill in Na, lost or gained electrons. We just said, when we saw it happen, it lost the electron when I moved it over there. Lost. And Cl then gained. Always one loses, one gains, and we call that a transfer. And Na is now a cation or anion. Well, it's positive, and paws sound like cat's hands, right? Positive. So cations are positive. Now Cl became a negative ion, an ion. That side's done. Let's go to the other side. We're going to count the atoms needed to make all the ions stable. So right now the ions are all stable, both Na is stable and the Cl. And when I look, I see how many Na are there here, and I'm not asking about electrons or anything else. I'm asking about the whole ion. So we might show it with a bracket in the past. So that's one Na ion, and there's one Cl ion here too. So it's a 1-to-1 ratio, we might say. It takes one of each to make them both happy. So based on the numbers you counted, write the formula. Use symbol and subscript numbers if needed, and no subscript means 1. So Na is the symbol. We always write the positive first, and there's only 1, and no subscript means 1, so I'm not going to put any little number. And then Cl is the nonmetal, or the anion, and that comes second, and I'm going to put them kind of close together like they are one word in a way, except keeping those capital letters. So capital Na, capital Cl. One Cl means I only need one of them. I'm not going to use a subscript there either. So that's the formula. Now write the name of this ionic compound. Use your periodic table and see the chart up above for the nonmetal names with the "ide" ending. So we name it by saying the cation first, Na. If you need to, you can look at a periodic table, and it is sodium. And we do not change the name of the cation. It's the same as on the table. But Cl, that is on the table, it's chlorine, and here we see it's chloride. Chlorine becomes chloride. Okay, so we're going to put chloride, sodium chloride. And you've heard that one a few times, so you'll start to get used to it the more you hear it. Now, we're going to summarize this. So we're going to use sentence frames. First, then, as a result, finally. You can use more if you need more to tell the story, but you're going to summarize how an ionic bond forms between Na and Cl. Now this example is done for you, and I tried to use a lot of vocabulary. Do you think it's a good description of what's happening above? I'll read it. It says, first, one electron transfers. It is lost from Na and gained by Cl, giving them both stable octets. As a result, the Na atom becomes a positive cation, and the Cl becomes a negative anion. Finally, an ionic bond forms between the Na and Cl ions because opposites attract. So all of those green words are vocabulary words. I was really trying to put as much in there as I could, and the blue words are the sentence frames, the transition words that help us to summarize. So you're going to have to summarize one at the end of the worksheet, and remember this example is here for you to look at again. So you can go on and do the rest. Remember, if you've tapped the pencil or whatever up above, you've got to tap that T again in order to drag electrons. Here you see these blue ones, they want to drag, and same on the bottom, number 3. And then finally at the very bottom is where you're going to summarize. You can choose, once you've done them, choose either Mg and O, which is number 2, or Na and S, and you summarize it. Try to get as much vocab in there as you can. Remember, come to a Google Meet if you need more help.